Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome from wherever you are tuning in across the continent and beyond. This is the DPO Diary Series brought to you by the DPO Africa Network. Here, we pause from policy paperwork to plug into the real stories shaping Africa's digital future. I'm Laura, your host for today. As digital transformation races ahead, the role of the data protection officer is evolving. It's no longer about ticking compliance boxes, but about building trust and resilience. And today we have a new guest. I know on our last meeting we had Melissa Chasi from Zimbabwe, and this time around I'm bringing you a brand new DPO from another country, and I hope and I know that we're going to have a fantastic time today. So if you're ready, we are going to jump right in. And our first person for today is Prince Jones. Prince is a Linux and Microsoft certified professional with over 16 years of experience across ISPs, and NGOs. And he's currently serving as a data protection officer at Veritas Zimbabwe. Well, I'm not going to give you all the info on Prince today because he's going to be here and he's going to talk about what he does at home in Zimbabwe with Veritas and also what he does with the DPO African Network. We have a lot in store for you, and I hope you enjoy the DPO Diary session today. So, Prince, hello, how are you doing? And good morning.
Hello. I'm okay mostly. Just I think I'm catching a bit of a bug with flu that's flying around.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
otherwise, I think I'm pretty okay. Yeah.
fantastic. So, it's quite interesting to see that you're not just a DPO, you do have the technical knowledge for over 16 years. That is a lot of years. And so let us know, how many years have you been a DPO for?
This will be my second year. Um, Official DPO would be like this year, but um, in the organization I started last year, so that it's now going to be 2 years this year. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's interesting because I know many people have always thought that you needed a lot. I don't know how they envisage the role of a DPO, but people do not think that it can be, a DPO, like the officer themselves, without having some maybe years as just a data protection advisor or something. So let us know from a Linux expert what inspired your journey into data protection.
Uh, that's an interesting one. So, oddly enough, I when I got into my role, there was another guy who was like a lawyer. We had been doing a bit of IT here and there to cater for the organization, but its needs grew, and they needed a proper actual IT guy. So when I came in, during my time working with him, I actually started wondering why there wasn't an actual side to law that was concerned with IT specifically, because IT at the time, and I think it still is, it was really like an emergent type world. It's something where things literally change. One day you are hearing there's this new tech, and then the next day somebody's taken that tech to make some new tech and so on. But the thing that bothered me was, in all that, you didn't have any kind of let's call them restraints, safety harnesses
Yeah.
for the systems. And one of my biggest worries was always, it was like privacy. Like I found at the time it was Facebook before it became Meta, and I found like a lot of things that they were doing seemed invasive, but like there was nothing that was really governing them. And I used to wonder about how to control that. So the guy who used to be there, the lawyer there, he talked a lot about this stuff, and he was like, "You should look into this." And yeah, so I got into interested, but there was no real platform. Later on, there was the discussions around the Cyber Data Protection Act, but before all that, even after the act was made, right, there was no real platform where you could say, I am a privacy officer. You could be an IT person or a lawyer who had some interest in privacy, but there was nothing actionable. And that so I had interest, but like I couldn't action it. The thing that actually changed all that was that statutory instrument 155 of 2024, where they now actioned the act. And after that came out, I started because the statutory instrument actually talked about you needed to have done training with porters. I was constantly searching for that, and that's how I ended up running into the training and consequently became a DPO. Yeah.
Okay, what an interesting journey you have there. So now that you are a DPO, what does your typical day look like? What do you do? It's like if you were asked what is a day in the life of Prince Jones as a data protection officer, what would your reply be?
Um, Okay, so for me, part of this is there's obviously like because we are still fresh, still carrying out a lot of the processes that need to be done, assess TPIAs and so on. But one of the first things I need to do in the mornings primarily is to actually check for uh, data subject access requests. So it's not really access requests, but more like data subject requests. So we run a mailing list, and the way it was set up, they opted to remove the unsubscribe online because while we were publicly facing, we had a phase where um, first off, it was our internet service provider messing up with DNS and whatnot. Then the second phase was actually now the server was continuously getting attacked. So they told us they wanted to take it off the public IP shouldn't was not to receive outside requests. So what I now check for daily is like any request from data subjects, whether it's to subscribe or unsubscribe, and any other communications that they might put through. So yeah, that's my primary. And then after that, it's literally just carrying out processes, trying to interact. The thing is like as you know, for Africa in general, the NGO sector is a little unstable at the moment. So I have to balance time with the people I have to interview for some of the processes. So some of them are too busy running around getting things sorted for the organization. But at the same time, I need to get in touch with them. So it's like literally like chasing and then rechase until you get something done. Yeah.
Okay, that's a day to me.
Yeah, it's strenuous. So the thing is like sometimes you are so hyped and then you find somebody keeps bouncing until you just ish, you need to talk to that person again. But
Yeah.
it needs to be done. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you are there for almost 2 years now, so I assume that in all of this stressful, or should I say strenuous work that you do, there has to be some green light. So I would ask, what has been the most fulfilling part of your work as a DPO?
Oh, the, I think for me, my the best thing was when the board and uh, the director actually came on board. Like they were like, okay, let's get this done. We really need to get it done. It was one of those, like the problem when something is still fresh is people don't really see where, why, and how. They're like, how will we get this done, and so on. So the moment when they were like, let's get it done. It was it's strange, but like it's not actually the activity like doing a DPIA or this or that. It's the part where they will take it seriously. Like, okay, he has recommended we need to do this, and they will obviously during meetings then ask you like, okay, you said this, but this is what's happening on the ground. How do we work through this? And that that acceptance is what's great for me. It's like they're taking your word, putting value to your words. Actually, yeah, I think that's the best way. You actually bring value to the organization. Yeah,
Yeah, and nothing beats, people finally recognizing what you do as important. It just
yeah.
means you are doing something right, and they are beginning to feel the impact of what you do. So I can relate with you on that. It must be a good feeling, I imagine. Okay, so like you said earlier, privacy is something that we are, gradually embracing in Africa, but a lot of people still have very little knowledge about it. So, except you're a lawyer, like I am now, it's you probably not see people outside of that field who know what you're talking about, or who when you are speaking about it, they have this understanding, So, um, as somebody who has been doing this for the past 2 years now, and seeing what you do every day, and you work for an NGO, what do you think is one privacy myth that you wish people would stop believing?
I think the biggest one is it's what I deal with a lot, uh, because of a background in IT, right? There's this misconception that privacy has to do with hiding things from the world or whatever. And unfortunately, people don't understand what private. Like you try to explain to somebody. No, it's not about wanting to hide things. It's about being, I don't know,
All
making
of
sure your rights are kept. There's so much that happens now that unfortunately, like a lot of the current generation, by current I mean people who might be like say 20, 30 years and older, right, come from a generation where stuff like telephone directories were normal. Like it was okay to have your name, address, and phone number listed. But now we know how dangerous that is. The environment has changed such that it's something where even if somebody has your name, they have your phone number, they can actually get so much out of your life. And that's the hardest part, like trying to break that. Maybe they're like, no, it's just my number. I'll just give an example. Locally, we have this service, it's EcoCash. It's basically for sending money to friends and making payments and so on, mobile money transfer. But now, when you aren't sure of a person's name and you have their number, you can actually try to send and it will display. So you want to send to so and so, and all of a sudden, whatever hidden two secrets existed are now
yeah,
there. And that's the thing you try to explain to people. Your life, how your data is handled, you need to rethink who's dealing with it, how they're dealing with it, and so on. So the biggest myth is I have nothing to hide. That nothing. Yeah.
which is ironic because particularly as Africans, we have a lot to hide. We
Yeah.
try not informing anybody. As a woman, when you are pregnant, nobody knows, and then the baby's just here. But somehow, with our information, particularly digitally, we are a bit carefree about it. So yeah, that's a very salient point you have raised. Thank you, Prince. So I'll ask you now. So this is you know something out of, I know you are a Linux expert and DPO as well. So if you were not a DPO or a Linux expert, what would you be doing?
Ooh, so originally, I had been looking to go in the direction of security, right? Pure security.
Mm,
Then advent of AI, well, it's technically not really an advent. AI has been around for decades, but this explosion that's happened, I had actually started looking at AI as tools to automate a lot of the processes that I had been doing, and not going beyond that. I actually wanted to see how far I could actually use the AI. Um, for instance, there's a thing where our organization does a lot of research and write-ups. Essentially, it's like to equip both citizens and parliament with what's happening. And basically, you take legislation and you break it down so much anyone can understand. And I wanted to now take the existing tools that were there and try to create models and so on. But then, yeah, well, this came and I was like, I have been waiting for more years for you. Let me go that way. So I then just switched over to the DPO life. And I honestly, sometimes I do think about it, but like, no regrets. I think about it, but not regretfully. Like, yeah, I could be doing that, but no, I'm not regretting the move. Yeah.
which is that's interesting because that only says how serious you are. Some of us who are lawyers, if you have asked me, I would have said probably musician or an actress, something that, that will give you fame and money and the buzz and all of that. But it's nice that you are very serious from security, Linux, DPO. That is, you have your hands full.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring it down back to the network, the DPO Network Africa. I know that you are also a member of this network, and that is why we are doing this interview. And on leadership, within the network, why did you join the DPO network?
Um, for me, the first and most important thing was this was something new, and like I just entered a fresh new sector, right? And what I wanted to do was network, but I felt I couldn't constrain myself to just my country, because I we actually have a privacy practitioners association. They created a WhatsApp group, and we have a group for DPOs in Zim. But what I realized was I needed something broader.
Mm,
The thing is, you only gain from experience, and you only gain experience by meeting new things. So for me, the network presented that because, for one thing, it actually had a call for volunteers. I was like, they definitely have focus. So my first thought was I had to become a volunteer and contribute. My belief is when you share, somebody shares with you. So the more you share, the more they will share with you. And that was my hope. And interestingly enough, that is what I've gained. I've received as much as I've given. So it's really great. Yeah. In fact, I actually might say I sometimes receive more than I give because just from some of the sessions and webinars, you learn
yeah,
so much more than what I expected, and I believe I would actually experience on my own, because you normally see the world in a particular way, but then somebody will come with a new view, and it
yeah.
just breaks everything you understand, and you start like, wait, I need to look at this. So yeah, that's why.
That's lovely. It's always everyone needs to, broaden their horizon and not be limited by, to what they do or where they live. I love that. So with the network, what are you currently working on? Or do you have anything you're working on, maybe personally or as a group on the network?
Yeah. So I'm part of the policy review working group. We essentially what we do is review um, legislation and laws like for the whole continent,
Mhm.
and we I what we've been doing is like the last session was just for data subject rights, but as a whole, what we're looking at is the laws. We compare them and compare and contrast with other countries within the continent and with outside the continent. And what we do through that is we help not just DPOs learn about processes and things that are happening in, say, a given country, but we also hope through our interactions that regulators can actually take in those insights we gain from our reviews and actually then look to improve their situation or for instance, if for instance they find out there's actually a data subject right that they haven't implemented in their country, they can now consider having that added to their existing laws. It's a thing where like we're trying to just be again share. You learn and then you share and hope to influence the changes that are needed, particularly for Africa, since it's it's quite literally like playing catch up with the rest of the world. So I actually enjoy the work because of that. I know I'm doing something positive for the continent.
Yeah, love that perspective. Love that. So would you, consider or would you advise other DPOs to consider joining the network? Why do
Yes.
you think you should join us?
A resounding yes. They just at the most basic level, there's so much more to gain through networking. Whether
Mm,
it's knowledge, insights, even like experience. You take shortcuts with experience basically rather than going all on your way to go through rough patches. Some of the discussions people in the network have actually of great benefit. Even the courses that they offer on the network, there are things that I realized like if you weren't in there, you wouldn't realize that because I'll give an example. When you learn stuff, like for instance, CIPP and EUS and so on, those are contextually made for those countries. Like
yeah. Mm,
Africa plays a different game, a totally different game. So it becomes interesting when you now come to the network. You're networking with other DPOs. You even some of the courses, the webinars, you learn stuff that's really more Africa oriented, and it makes it more. It makes it easier to actually implement what you've learned in past. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely say join. Just join the network.
yeah. So, I mean, you've heard from Prince himself. If you are a DPO or you're an aspiring DPO or you're just curious and enthusiastic about data protection, this is the right place to be. Join us today. We are going to, the link to joining us is going to be attached to this video, so you can join us after this video. Anyways, Prince, we've had a wonderful time today, but one last word from you. How can people connect with you if they want to and they're interested in what you do, at Veritas, as well as what you do with the network? How can they connect with you?
Well, if they go to the DPO network, Africa network, they can always. as long as they've joined, they'll be able to message me. And then for um, other external, they can always just find me via LinkedIn. I'm always available. I respond as soon as I can. That I usually like. What I'll confess is, some weekends I try to do more family focused, but like generally I'm available. Yeah.
Okay. So we're also going to attach your LinkedIn handle so that anyone can just click on it and join. Thank you so much, Prince Jones, for coming on the show today and sharing with us your insights on what you do in your home country and what you do at the DPO Diary session. It was lovely, lovely having you today.
And thank you for having me. Have a great day. Eh?
Our pleasure. So, and just like that, we draw the curtain on today's entry for the DPO Diary session. I hope you've learned a few lessons from Prince. And, this is a reminder that in Africa, data protection is much more than just regulations. We build trust and we help economies in finding their digital footing. And we cannot do this without the DPOs. We need DPOs, we need data protection officers in all these places. So you have it, update your policies, audit your systems, and train your teams. It is very, very important to train your teams. And always remember to keep the humanity in compliance and join us at the DPO network. We are waiting for you. We have a lot in store for you. And so we want you to enjoy this. There's so much value to be gained from joining us today. So we'll be waiting for you to join us. So until the next diary entry, stay safe and do not forget to join our network. Connect with us, access our newsletters, and stay updated on our coming webinars and courses. Enjoy your day. I'm Laura again. Bye.